All right, here we go. The show is underway. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Chase Senior. Hope all of you out there are having a fantastic Thursday. Producer Trizzy Trace on the ones and twos, and all of you hanging out with us as well. An absolutely loaded show as we discuss the latest Philadelphia Eagles news, rumors, draft buzz, that, and a whole lot more. And, of course, we're always down to interact with the Bird Gang. Go Birds, E-A-G-L-E-S. Appreciate y'all for joining us. So where's the Bird Gang hanging out today? Just let us know where you're watching from. I see Brandon Ford is in the chat. Our guy Chua Lore saying, Chase, are you at the game? I'm not sure which game you're talking about there, Chua, but let me know. Brandon Ford giving us a Go Birds. We're coming to you from the Chat Sports Studios and a straight-up loaded show. Cam Newton said he'd like to back up Jalen Hurts. I put together an Eagles mock draft. Is Philadelphia eyeing Jalen Carter? We'll also take a look at some Eagles draft targets. Brandon Ford, Elijah Stovall, Sean the Kid, Shannon Lewis, all in the chat right now. People starting to get that notification. They're starting to pile in. Dave M., Go Birds. Brandon Ford telling Elijah, what's up? Brain Roberts saying, what's up? Ethan Otto saying Go Birds, but let us know where exactly you're watching from, because I know a lot of people tuned in from all across the globe. Chua Lure, for instance, in Hamilton City, California. I know we're in Dallas, Texas, so too is the homie Brandon Ford, Jaden Hoops, yo, One Shot, Go Bird, Sean the Kid in North Carolina, David, Bird Gang, Texas, Ethan Otto, Vegas, Ben Salem from Dave M., Northern California, Reading to be specific, from Shannon Lewis. I told you, people watching from everywhere, every pocket of America. Let's go. So we're going to be talking about Jalen Carter later on today's show. So should the Eagles draft him at number 10 overall? Obviously, he would come to Philadelphia with a little bit of controversy given the legal situation, but as a player, he's a stud. Now, he's represented by Drew Rosenhaus. Him and his agent this week said not going to be taking any visits outside the top 10. So that then caused a lot of people to speculate that maybe Carter has gotten word from Philadelphia that if he is on the board for the Birds at number 10, Eagles are going to bring him in at defensive tackle. More people tuned in from other places like the heart of South Philly. Braden Roberts is in New Jersey, Rochester, New York. New York. Big Cheltenham in the building. I met a girl who lived in Cheltenham on the, I believe, Cape May Boardwalk. I think we dated for like a day, and that was it when I was young. Shannon Lewis, T. David Anderson, T for take. Yo Rad said, yo, I'm a member of the Noti Gang. That's good stuff right there. Noti Gang. I'm not seeing anybody saying that the Eagles should pass on Jalen Carter, Andrew Kennedy, Robinson all the way. I like Bijan too. Stay tuned for who I have going to Philadelphia and who I would pick in my Eagles mock draft. Dave M. also said, take that running back, Ryan Rowe. He said, take him. Carter is a stud from Braden. I certainly do agree. Now, if you want to join the show today, we always love chopping it up with the Fly Eagles Fly family. Use the hashtag Eagles, or you can also send in a super chat because your donation goes a long way. Starting tomorrow, about 5:40 a.m., I'm flying to Key West, taking a little bit of a vacation. Going to be my first vacay in a couple of years. So if you want to send in a donation to the Key West Fund, we ain't going to stop you. And we're in a super chat battle right now. It's pretty wild. Some NFC East foe channels have gone crazy with super chats this week. New York Giants now set a channel record for the most amount of super chats on a single live show, $3,100. The Cowboys report $750, and then it's us, Philadelphia Eagles Now. Can we compete today? It's up to you. And, of course, in advance, we do appreciate it. If you're ready to start the show, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Jaden Hoops, do you think Rashad Penny is a good pickup for us? Yeah, he's a good player. He's just always injured. Red Who said Bijan. Ethan Otto, draft Bijan. Red Who, Bijan, then whoever. So a lot of people really do like Bijan Robinson. I'm actually going to make that our live poll here. Pick a player at number 10. We're going to go.
I see you, Elijah.
Jalen Carter. We're going to go Jalen Carter, Bijan Robinson. Get your votes in our live poll. Elijah Stovall pulls out company credit card. Hey, what they don't know, don't hurt them. We were live earlier this week. I think some kid was paying with his daddy's credit card.
See, the thing is, the company won't see it went to Eagles Now.
Exactly.
It went to YouTube.
It went to YouTube.
It could be for research or marketing research or
I'm
outreach
saying.
or something.
Exactly right. I like the way that Trace thinks. I'm looking at Jaden Hoops right now before we get started. There's a rumor going on that Jalen Hurts could have a 10-year contract. We talked about it on yesterday's show. So go back and watch that. It could be a Patrick Mahomes level deal. I break it down in full detail. So that video up on the channel. So I love y'all. Y'all are the best. I love this channel. I love the birds. But we have 70 people watching live, only 22 likes. That's criminal. Got to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Brandon Ford, dang, I use my Apple Card. One Shot Radio. Robinson would make us one of the scariest offenses in the league. I totally agree. And my philosophy, don't draft running backs in the first round. But if they're transcendent talent and you don't have a need, because oftentimes if you're picking in the top 10, you have a bunch of needs. Philadelphia really doesn't. I'm going with the luxury pick. I'm going with the Ferrari. I'm going Bijan Robinson. That's just what I'm doing. Shannon Lewis getting things kicked off. Jim Travers. Any relation to Tom Travers? Used to coach me in Little League Baseball growing up in the Westchester area. Carter was accepted as the second best player in the entire draft behind Will Anderson. If he's available at 10, you can't pass. Yeah, it'd be tough to pass up on him. Shannon Lewis with the super sticker getting things kicked off. So we're $5 closer to competing to the Cowboys report and New York Giants now. See what happens? I said, yo, you got to like the video. We picked up 16 likes in about 1 minute there. Make sure you continue to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Jay Brett already using the hashtag 49ers. I'll answer this first, and then we'll get started. How do you feel about Nolan Smith at number 10? You think he'll be there, or should we trade back a couple of spots? I think he's a reach at number 10. Injuries and lack of production, that always scares me. Sometimes you can't just bank on the athletic profile. I need production. And I think Howie Roseman has kind of learned his lesson in that department. So I don't think so. I wouldn't take him at number 10. Now, if he's available at number 30, I'd be all about it. Jim Travers, folks from Norristown. Okay, Norristown, Westchester, not too far right there. So, all right, cool. We're going to start the show right now. Tell your friends and family that we're live on Eagles Now. We're going to start off with this. Cam Newton saying that he'd like to back up Jalen Hurts. Let's dive into it and what it means. Happy Thursday. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. And on the docket, Cam Newton, who's still a free agent, worked out at Auburn's Pro Day a couple of weeks ago, said that I do want to still play. I am willing to be a backup. And he listed Jalen Hurts as one of the quarterbacks that he is willing to back up. Here's the list of quarterbacks that Cam said, you know what? If I have an opportunity to continue my career in the National Football League, I would be willing to back up a couple of quarterbacks here across the National Football League, several, in fact. He said Deshaun Watson has a long-standing relationship with him. Sam Howell with the Washington Commanders looks as though he's a shoo-in as of now to be the Commanders quarterback one. That's good news for Philadelphia. He said he'd back up Malik Willis. Justin Fields with the Chicago Bears. Tua Tagovailoa with the Miami Dolphins. Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills, who is kind of built like Cam Newton was when he was winning that MVP in 2015, putting together one of the most impressive all-around quarterback seasons we've ever seen. You see Jalen Hurts on this list for Cam, Lamar Jackson, depending on where he goes, Aaron Rodgers, and 3 quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, as well as Anthony Richardson. Now, this is fun to talk about in theory, right? Because Cam Newton won that MVP. The Panthers that year were 15-1. They did get stomped in the Super Bowl by the Denver Broncos. He's had a borderline Hall of Fame career, although it was a little bit top-heavy. Couple of great years to start. Then he tailed off. But message to Cam Newton, I'm sorry, Cam, no room for you. Why is that? Philadelphia is pretty set with at least their first 2 quarterbacks on this roster. Now, Ian Book, not a guarantee to make the 53-man roster. In fact, if you come across a Stetson Bennett, a Max Duggan, a Dorian Thompson-Robinson late in the 2023 NFL Draft, I'd be willing to take one of those players and then just let go of Ian Book. But Jalen Hurts, obviously, going to be your quarterback one. And Marcus Mariota, he got a nice little contract from Philadelphia in free agency to be Jalen Hurts' backup. So they're not going to let him go, obviously, and sign Cam Newton. The last time we saw Cam, he was certainly up and down. 65.8% completion percentage. He threw for more than 2,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Running the football, it's not like he's awful. And, of course, that sample size in 2020, really the last big sample size. He had that short tenure there with the Carolina Panthers, but it became clear. Just not the same quarterback. And honestly, since he injured that shoulder, the accuracy plummeted, wasn't the same thrower of the football. I will say that if you had one game to win in the NFL and you could run just some crazy triple option because it would be difficult to defend, and you could have Cam Newton basically running a lot of power football, quarterback option, RPO, you might be able to win like one game. But for a long-standing quarterback, Cam Newton, I think, is washed and his best days are behind him. But the rushing stat's pretty damn good. 137 carries, 592 yards, and 15 games started with New England. That's the last time, again, he was like a long-term starter. That short stint with the Carolina Panthers, you can't really count that. Then he picked up 55 first downs. He started that year pretty solid, and then he got COVID with New England. And then after that, honestly, kind of lost his groove. So with that, today's poll question is this. Would you sign Cam Newton? Would you bring him in as a backup? Would you bring him in as a QB3? Let us know down in the comment section, S for sign or P for pass. Before we continue to take a look at this, Eagles draft hats are available, and it's time to take a look at these fresh Johns. The designs over the last couple of years have honestly been somewhat weak. I actually think these designs for these Eagles hats are some of the best that we've seen over the last couple of years. Chatsports.com/Eagles draft. Get swagged up this offseason with those draft hats. Speaking of Marcus Mariota, he did an interview with Dave Spadaro on PhiladelphiaEagles.com, touched on a couple of things, how his season with the Atlanta Falcons went, why he signed with Philadelphia, why he's excited to head to the Birds. Here's a couple of things that he did have to say. I'm at a point in my career where I just want to enjoy the game. I want to have fun doing it. The scheme in Philadelphia, very exciting for me. And the fact of the matter is, I feel like I can help Jalen Hurts. And if we can make Jalen a better player, this team is going to be better. And to be a part of the team that was a play away from winning the Super Bowl, that was an opportunity I could not pass up. Obviously, Mariota, like Cam, his days of being a starting quarterback probably over. But as a backup, Mariota, I think, is a pretty good scheme fit. And I applauded the signing at the time. This is an Eagles organization that's always prioritized backup quarterbacks and is always willing to invest in backup quarterbacks. I mean, I think about as I've grown up, right? Watching Eagles football since I was 4 or 5 years old. You had Doug Peterson backing up Donovan McNabb. You had A.J. Feely play some critical games. Coy Detmer. You had Jeff Garcia come in and win a playoff game against the Giants. Nearly beat the Saints in the divisional round. You had Michael Vick. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. So I do think it's really important to invest in the backup quarterback position, and that is a staple of the foundation for Howie Roseman as well as Jeffrey Lurie. Last year, Mariota, to start the season, Atlanta was kind of a pesky team, and then they really did just tail off. Completed 61% of his passes, and for his career, he has never been a big completion percentage guy. 13 games played, he threw for more than 2,200 yards. 15 touchdowns, 9 picks, 438 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Against the San Francisco 49ers earlier in the year, he was nearly perfect in terms of throwing the football, picked up a couple of big plays with his legs, but sometimes the jury is out, and it becomes clearer and clearer that somebody is better suited as a backup quarterback as compared to a starter, like Gardner Minshew. He could come in for a game and play really well, like against the Dallas Cowboys, who put up a bunch of numbers, right? But then once teams get tape on you and they catch up to some of your tendencies and they're able to grasp some of your strengths and your weaknesses, then they adjust to you. You can adjust, and that's why you're a backup quarterback. That's what Marcus Mariota is at this point of his career. And for Cam Newton, he was a star. He was an MVP. But with the arm and shoulder injury, if you can't complete simple out routes, you just don't have an opportunity to play in this league. Cam Newton said, there ain't 32 quarterbacks better than me. Well, Cam, there are a lot of quarterbacks who are better than you. And your days as a starting quarterback, you might be confident in yourself. They are over. And the Eagles do not have a place for Cam Newton. Pick a backup here. So if you could go with Marcus Mariota or you could go with Cam Newton, who do you think that you would go with, and which quarterback do you like to back up Jalen Hurts? I'm going Mariota here, younger player, a little bit healthier, and I think the production is a little bit better as far as recency bias goes. And as you venture down to the comment section to get those votes in, please make sure you subscribe to us here on Philadelphia Eagles Now for year-round coverage of the Birds. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. And if you want to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram, you see the handles here to my right. I'm on Twitter at Chase_Senior. I'm on Instagram at Chase_Senior. Heading to Key West on Friday, going to be a blast, but of course the content going to continue. But if you want a picture of me sitting beachside, Key West, nice sand, clear water, hit me up. I got you. All right. What are the people saying here? Andrew Kennedy, Mariota, Ryan Rowe, Mariota, Ethan Otto, Mariota, Cool Rains, Marcus, Jay Brett. Cam would be lucky to get picked up at this point. I know high schoolers that could play both ways that are better than Cam. My goodness, that's a body right there.
I heard that the XFL and the USFL were hiring. Could look at those guys.
See, that's the thing. Like, I understand you have an ego, right? But if you want to still play, go down there and audition.
Exactly.
Sure that you can complete some simple passes, but at Cam's workout at Auburn's Pro Day, he missed some of those out routes toward the sideline. That's a problem. Mike Seidel, Sam Bradford. Oh, don't remind me about Sammy Sleeves. Do not remind me. All right, we're in a Super Chat competition here. Audience a little bit light as we're in kind of the doldrums between free agency and the peak of it, as well as the NFL draft. But shoot, other channels have been picking up some crazy Super Chats this week. And a couple of divisional foes. New York Giants now, led by the fearless Marshall Green, $3,100 earlier this week on a single show. They didn't even do a segment. They just partied the whole time. It was bananas. Cowboys report that same day. They checked in with $750. Philadelphia Eagles now with $5. Are we going to walk the walk? Are we going to talk the talk as well? Philadelphia Eagles now. You send in a Super Chat, certainly goes a long way. And if you want to send it a Super, it goes to the Key West Fund. Trying to have some drinks while I'm in Key West. If you want to join the show, hashtag Eagles, better yet, Super Chat to get those questions popped up on the screen for us to read them from the comment section as well. Coming up next on the show, some Eagles draft buzz. A look at Pro Football Focus's 3-round NFL mock draft. That's what's coming up right now. It's Chase Senior. It's Trizzy Trace. It's All of You, segment number 2, coming your way right now. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now Pro Football Focus, putting together a 3-round mock draft. So we're going to take a look at the Eagles draft targets within that draft. A couple of certainly interesting names to talk about. And of course, we're going to do some deep dives on these prospects as well. One of which I kind of like for Philadelphia if he's on the board at number 30. Stay tuned for that. But let's show you the Eagles 2023 draft picks here. What a situation it is for Howie Roseman, this front office, this organization, to make it to the Super Bowl, to come within a couple of plays of winning it, to hang up an NFC championship banner, and to have 2 first-round picks, and a top 10 pick. So having this draft capital is really important for you because you're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts a lot of money. You're going to be tight on the salary cap, and if you can get premium, cost-controlled players, it allows you to stay competitive and talented on that roster. So number 10 and number 30 in the first round, number 62 in the second round, have a 3rd-round pick, 94th overall, and then 2 7th-round picks, 219 and 248. And by the way, in 2024, Eagles once again locked and loaded with a lot of draft capital. I know this pick, a lot of you aren't going to like it. Peter Skoronski at number 10 to the Eagles, the tackle guard hybrid out of Northwestern. He's a really good player. Some might make the argument he is the best offensive lineman in this draft. I like his versatility. There are some question marks with him because people aren't sure if his arms are long enough to play tackle, but I'll tell you what, I looked at him go up against some really good Big Ten defensive linemen where week in, week out, you're going up against some really quality players. He held his own, and he was dominant, pancaking a couple of dudes. Last year in 2022, 1 sack allowed, 2 hits, 3 quarterback hurries, a Pro Football Focus run grade of 81.7. While it might not be a sexy pick and one that gets you excited, it's in Howie Roseman's wheelhouse. And I bet you he would probably nerd out over this selection. I'm just not sure what Philadelphia is going to do here because Cam Jurgens is going to slide over from center to right guard to take over for Isaac Seumalo. I would imagine, right? Once Jason Kelce retires, Cam Jurgens will then pop back to center. In the meantime, do you want to have Jurgens play right guard, or do you draft Skoronski to play right guard? And then at some point, once Lane Johnson retires, as he signed that extension through 2026, maybe Skoronski is your future right tackle. So a couple of different options here with taking Skoronski because of that versatility. Of note here, he did have a pre-draft visit with Philadelphia. I highly doubt that he gets out of the top 15 because he is a very good player. As for what PFF had to say about Skoronski, General Manager Howie Roseman isn't going to let Isaac Seumalo walking in free agency cost the Eagles their title as the NFL's best offensive line. Skoronski can start at right guard in year 1 with his tackle versatility, also future-proving that position. And for Jeff Stoutland, best offensive line coach in the NFL, he would certainly be able to develop Peter Skoronski. So with that, let's pivot to our poll question on today's show. Embrace debate here. This will be the pinned comment. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and get your votes in. Would you be mad if Skoronski went to the Eagles at number 10? M for mad or G for a good pick? To the pick at number 30 in the first round. I love it. I'm intrigued by the player. I think the Eagles need an upgrade at wide receiver 3, and in selecting Zay Flowers, they would get just that. A gadget weapon who could really cause some havoc in this offense, and unseat Quez Watkins as wide receiver number 3. Mediocre Boston College offense with subpar quarterback play, yet Zay Flowers, who has a great name too, by the way, put up extraordinary production. You can run jet sweeps, you can run bubble screens, you can run reverses. He can take the top off of the defense. He can line up out wide in the slot. He ran a couple of those motion plays at Boston College that had the Eagles defense biting against the Kansas City Chiefs to guys like Sky Moore as well as Kadarius Toney. Yes, I had to bring it back up because it gives you an illustration of the route tree and the versatility of Zay Flowers. 78 catches last year, more than 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns coming in a variety of ways, could pick up yards after the catch. And his production over 4 years at Boston College, very, very good. Comes in as a freshman, 22 grabs, 341. The year after that, 56 catches, 892 yards. 2021, BC had some injuries at that quarterback spot. Still reeled in 44 catches for 746 yards. And then this past year, the numbers that we showed you. And anytime he gets his hands on the football, as evidenced by the average yards per catch, it's going for 15 plus yards. You look at his RAS scores. This is the relative athletic score, measuring athletes on a scale of 1 to 10 to see how they measure up in these athletic departments. He is smaller at 5'8". That's why he's more of a gadget guy and a wide receiver 3, 182 pounds. So that's why he gets a composite size grade in the red of very poor. But broad jump, pretty good. Goes to show you the explosiveness, and he's a very, very quick player. He checked in elite in the 40-yard dash with the 4.42, 20-yard split of 2.53, and a 10-yard split of 1.48. My big prediction come draft time for Philadelphia, at number 10, I would not be shocked if they get a Jackson Smith and Jigba, if they traded back to get a wide receiver 3. If they take a wide receiver number 30, or if they get a new wide receiver 3 at some point in this draft. It's a pressing need, I believe, for this offense. Cost-controlled player. When you already have expensive players in A.J. Brown, hopefully soon Devontae Smith, you're paying Dallas Goedert. Pretty important to get that wide receiver 3 position locked down. So if you want the Birds to draft Zay Flowers, it's the best name in the draft, arguably. Type Zay down in the comments section. He's got game. He really, really does. Moving on, In our Eagles mock draft from Pro Football Focus, a lot of people going to like this pick. So I don't love the first pick with Skoronski because I've been falling in love with Bijan Robinson. I like Zay Flowers and the value there at number 30. I also like the value here of Jordan Battle at pick number 62. 13 games played for Alabama last year. That defense was once again really, really good. He is a very good coverage safety. You look at some of the numbers here, not a guy who's going to play around the box, more so of a coverage safety. A reason why he might be available at the back end of the third round. Didn't test crazy in terms of his athleticism. He's 6 foot, 209 pounds. That's pretty solid. Benching 225 17 times. His 40-yard dash, 4.55. His 10-yard split, though, pretty good. So short area quickness. And here's my thing about the 40-yard dash, right? He can make up for the lack of speed with play instincts, with him being able to decipher what the offense is going to do, with him just being a very smart and heady player. And sometimes I don't care about the twitchiness athletically. I don't care if you run a 4.3 40-yard dash. If you don't know how to play the game of football, you're going to get lost in translation on the defensive side of the ball in what is going to most likely be a complex defense and system under Sean Desai. But if you can be a smart and heady player, you can play in this league for a really, really long time. Our final question here on this segment, who do you want the Eagles to draft? I'm hopping on board the Bijan train. I like Zay Flowers. I like Jordan Battle. A lot of players who I really like. Drop your draft knowledge down below and a couple of names if you do, please. What are the people saying? Tommy Curzio, go Eagles, go. Jim Travers, they draft a wide receiver. I will break my TV. But think about it, Jim. If you need to outscore opponents, why not? If you're needing to put up 30, 40 points per game and outlast a Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, why not? Best player available. I kind of agree. Recession proof. He said Tyler Scott. Tarrant, I like Lucas Van Ness. Jim Travers, Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez, Bijan Robinson. See, I thought the Eagles were going to be all in at corner at number 10, but then they brought back Darius Slay, James Bradbury. So I think, once again, we're not going to see a first-round corner taken since Lito Shepherd. You can put it up a little bit earlier if you want. Peter Thurman, what up, playa? He said Jalen Carter all the way. Jay Brett, we become the Chiefs of the NFC. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Matthew Henderson, go Eagles, go. Peter Thurman, he's a real one. Salute, brother. Taryn Frontiero. I also like Jack Campbell, the linebacker, maybe in the second round. Can Christian play safety like C.J. Gardner-Johnson did? Nah, he's a great corner. He's a great corner. Excuse me, I have to honk a loogie. Yeah. Had to give it back to Trace. Yeah, we had a bad bug go through the office, man. I've been congested over the last, I guess, week and change. Going to Key West tomorrow, though, so that nice weather's going to be treating me nice. And just had to honk a lug real quick. Like Jack on the deck of the Titanic. Andrew Nathan, that's a real one spit right there. Real one spit. Matthew Henderson, you good? We're great. We're great. You know, sometimes you get that phlegm in the throat. We're doing 4 segments on our live show. Just need to get it out, you know? It's not for the weary. It's not for the faint of heart. If you want to join the show, hashtag Eagles or Super Chat. We're at $5 in Super Chats as of right now. 2 more segments left to get to. My mock draft, and then we'll talk Jalen Carter, then take some of your questions as well. So our final segment, we're talking Carter, and we're answering your questions or your takes. So that's why you got to use the hashtag Eagles. Michael, that's good. It's not a problem. That's good stuff right there. The cynical, that Lug could have blocked better than Zeke on his final play. Yeah, he didn't block too well there. Our Super Chat battle with a couple of NFC East channels. We're getting our asses kicked here. Giants now earlier this week. I'm not expecting to get there. It's just unrealistic. $3,100 though in Super Chats during a single live show. Cowboys report did 750. 49ers report earlier this week did 800. And here we are sitting at 5. Are you embarrassed? I'm not, because I love y'all. But we'll take your donations if you want to send them in. Hashtag Eagles or Super Chat. We're really just trying to get these cuts and these segments done for when I'm in Florida. Ooh, that's icy. Hashtag Eagles or Super Chat. I see some great questions coming in. Just use the hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to hop on board. My first mock draft coming up next here. I'm excited for this.
It's so good.
I'm excited for this. I get in the shoes of Howie Roseman. I'm making the picks.
Real quick before we go, comment who you think Chase took at number 10.
Who do you think I took at number 10? Who do you think I took at number 10? And can we get a Super Chat in before the mock draft starts? We have 1 minute here. 1 minute. 1 minute. Cool Rain said Jalen Carter. Recession Proof said Jalen Carter. Ryan Rose said Jalen Carter. Anybody else? 25 seconds. Anybody else? Who did I pick at number 10? Devin Witherspoon from Taryn. Jim Travers, Peter Thurman. Jim, first time Super Chatter. Jim. Look at this animation here. First time Super Chatter from Jim. He said Bijan Robinson, and that is the pick. So Jim, with the first time Super Chat and the correct prediction. That's
Jim,
next level stuff.
The man.
Jim Travers. Jim Travers. And with the next Super Chat coming in, Real One Roll Call. Peter Thurman, he said Carter is the pick. Maybe on another mock, I'll go Jalen Carter. I just want to see how some of his pre-draft visits go, because I'm not convinced he's dropping to 10. I think Bijan is dropping to number 10, though. All right, let's get this mock draft underway. Here we go. Oh, whoops.
Ready?
All right, Eagles mock draft. We're getting to it. Clap it up, like the video. It's getting underway right now. All right, I'm really excited for today's show. I hop in the shoes of Howie Roseman. I enter the war room for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's my first Philadelphia Eagles mock draft, as if I'm the general manager and I'm making the picks. So without further ado, you're watching Philadelphia Eagles. Now, it's draft season. Let's get the show underway. At pick number 10 for Philadelphia, I could not help myself. I'm going with Bijan Robinson. I think by far at this point, with Jalen Carter off the board, he is the best player available. A transcendent talent who can change the complexion of this offense, is a great scheme fit, and an overall weapon that could take this Eagles offense to new heights. A cheaper player than Miles Sanders would have been if you re-signed him, and a better player than Miles Sanders. Look no further than the production the last couple of years. 1,127 rushing yards in 2021. Average yards per carry, an astounding 5.8. He had 26 receptions for 295 yards to go along with 15 total touchdowns. That year in 2021, everybody was really, really impressed with Bijan Robinson. He burst onto the scene and became a bona fide superstar. Nobody thought he was going to be able to duplicate those numbers. But what did he do in 2022? He upped his draft stock, he played even better, and the production increased. Nearly 1,600 rushing yards. Average yards per carry went up in addition to the rushing yards. 19 receptions for 314 yards. You can line him up in the slot. He can catch balls out of the backfield. He can run in between the tackles. He can get out to the edge, and 20 total touchdowns. I understand that I am against taking running backs in the first round, but I'm against taking running backs in the first round for teams that have a bevy of needs across the board, because oftentimes if you have a top 10 pick, you're a bad football team. But the Philadelphia Eagles won the NFC last year, made it to the Super Bowl. They don't have a lot of needs. So I'm going with the luxury pick here. I'm getting the Ferrari, and I'm going Bijan Robinson. With that, our poll question is this. Let's put you to the test. Would you take Bijan at number 10? T for take or P for pass? At number 30, who do we go with? We go at a position of strength and a position that Howie Roseman likes to build his teams with, and that is edge rusher. B.J. Ojulari just had a pre-draft visit with Philadelphia, edge rusher out of LSU, and his college production, very, very impressive for the Tigers. You take a look at some of the numbers that he put up, both in his career and in 2022. This guy is quick around the edge with that first step like Hassan Reddick, has a good pass rush arsenal, is relentless in getting after the quarterback, and the numbers show it. 58 tackles last year, 8.5 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. His career stats in 31 games played. If you put him opposite of Hassan Reddick, I think the sack numbers do go up, and the fact that he had a top 30 visit with Philadelphia is pretty telling. Goes to show you they're pretty interested. 128 tackles over that span, 25.5 tackles for loss, 16.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. And it would be good for him to come in as a rookie and get tutored by the likes of Hassan Reddick, who maybe he can be like one day. A Brandon Graham, a Fletcher Cox. BG is old. That's the thought of taking Ojulari here, and you can't trust Derek Barnett. You have Hassan Reddick. You have Josh Sweat. I think you need another edge rusher, and to get him here at number 30, I like the value. The Eagles did host him for a top 30 visit, so like I said, they are pretty interested in B.J. Ojulari. So make sure you subscribe to the show because our draft content going to continue to be killer. Do want to give a shout out to our sponsor today. It is Fume. Are you tired of struggling with bad habits? Cold turkey might be great for sandwiches, but there's a better way to break free from those pesky habits, and it does not involve weird mind voodoo or other bizarre tactics. Introducing our sponsor, Fume, an innovative, award-nominated device that helps you kick bad habits to the curb by focusing on the good parts. Scan the QR code that we're showing you here on your screen to learn more about Fume. It's all about embracing the natural. It's not electronic, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Best of all, it's free of harmful chemicals and packed with delicious, all-natural flavors. The adjustable airflow dial, movable parts, and magnets make it a perfect thing for fidgeting, which can alleviate stress and getting rid of that bad habit. With over 100,000 customers and countless success stories, there's no reason you can't be next. So, start your journey towards a healthier lifestyle with the Journey Pack from Fume. Visit tryfume.com/chatsports. Use the code CHATSPORTS, 10% off. That's tryfum.com/chatsports. Let's move forward here to pick number 62 in the second round for Philadelphia, and we go with the position of need. You lost Marcus Epps. You lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And I really like the game for Jordan Battle. This is an instinctual, heady player who has a high football IQ, learned under one of the best coaches ever in the history of football, college or pro, in Nick Saban. And he just has a knack for getting his hat on guys, for making big plays, pass breakups, interceptions, big-time moments. He steps up. 71 tackles last year, 2 pass breakups to go along with 1 interception. And again, I'm about value. I'm about best player available. He was still on the board, and I think he can be a very early starter in his NFL career. Just because you signed Terrell Edmunds and Justin Evans does not keep you from taking Jordan Battle. Why? They both signed 1-year contracts. Another reminder, subscribe to the show. I think our draft coverage has been absolutely sensational here on Philadelphia Eagles. Now, mock drafts, player profiles. We've done a couple of player interviews from the NFL Scouting Combine. Go Birds. This is more of a pick where the Eagles don't really necessarily have a need for Parker Washington, although I do think they need to upgrade a wide receiver 3, but I'm looking at the scenario here on the board, and I'm like, okay, pick number 94, Parker Washington. He's had great production at Penn State. He was a Houston high school phenom, and this is a big-bodied wide receiver who you can use in a versatile way out of the slot, and I do think that he would be able to give you more production as a rookie than what Quez Watkins can give you next year in 2023, because I think the book is out on Quez. It's a little bit too inconsistent. Parker Washington, in 2029 games played, 36 catches, 489 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Pretty solid. He nearly doubles his production the next year in 2021 in 13 games played with 820 yards. And in 2022, he didn't pop. That Penn State offense struggled to throw the football from time to time. 46 catches, 611 yards, 2 touchdowns, but a big-bodied wide receiver who plays physical, plays tough, can get some of those 50-50 balls, and I really do like his game. This is going to surprise some people, but at pick number 219, how about Stetson Bennett? Get rid of Ian Book and bring in Stetson Bennett, the 2-time national champion, as your quarterback number 3. And once Marcus Mariota's 1-year deal expires, maybe Stetson Bennett can be your backup. And if Jalen Hurts were to go down, I have confidence in Stetson Bennett in the big stage. I like Stetson Bennett. I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson in this 7th round. We go Bennett here because, look, I do believe that he can be a good spot starter, maybe even a Brock Purdy type. That's my pro comp for Stetson Bennett. He can matriculate around the pocket. He can make plays out of structure. He's a pretty good athlete, a little bit quicker than what people give him credit for. Not a bazooka for an arm, but at the NFL Combine, I thought that he was unleashing some bombs. And I like the experience at Georgia. Now, he is an older player for sure, so a lot of teams are going to balk at that. 32 games started, though. Completed 65% of his passes, won 2 natties, 66 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. Sometimes the decision-making, it can annoy you a little bit, but Stetson Bennett, an absolute gamer. Your one-word reaction if the Eagles were to take Stetson Bennett, what would it be? Shocker? Surprised? Wow? I'm just going winner, because Nick Sirianni, he likes winners. And with the final pick in my Eagles mock draft, we go cornerback here, Christian Braswell out of Rutgers. No guarantee he's going to make the 53-man roster, but look, if he doesn't make the 53-man roster, you cut him, you put him on the practice squad. Howie Roseman even said that when it comes to building our defenses, we build along the defensive line, then we go out to cornerback. They like developing corners, and sometimes you can get very good corners in the 7th round. So this is my first mock draft here. I thought I did a damn good job in the shoes of Howie Roseman in this war room for Philadelphia. If you like what I did, give me a grade. If you hate what I did, you can still give me a grade. You can rip me, you can praise me, whatever you want. So to round things out here, my Eagles mock draft, all 6 players here. Pick number 10 in the first round, Bijan Robinson, too good to pass up on. Later in the first round, B.J. Ojulari, the edge rusher out of LSU. Pick 62, Jordan Battle. Back end of the 2nd round, you get your future starting safety, ideally. Parker Washington, pick 94 in the 3rd round, wide receiver out of Penn State. Then a couple of 7th round picks here. You go Stetson Bennett, and Christian Braswell to round things out. Appreciate y'all for watching Philadelphia Eagles now. Hope you've all been enjoying our draft content. By the time you watch this, I'm in Key West enjoying it, but the content and the videos and the shows continue here on the channel. All right, let's see what the people are saying. King J gave me a C. Cool Rain said B. Eric Camper, B+. Season said B. Heather said B. Ryan Rowe, B+. The Great Cage, C. So if I could improve it, how could I improve it? What did you not like if you gave me a C? You can rip me. Again, I'm all for having those types of conversations. We are all shaped, our opinions, our views, and our thoughts by our own life experiences. So if you have a different opinion than me, that's okay. Not enough of that in America today. What'd you say? We're all shapes. I like that, Trace. You always have some witty Southern things to say. Shannon Lewis, $2 super chat. He said, I'll step up too. Let's go, Shannon. Real one steps up to the plate. knocks it out of the park. Heather, defensive lineman and center. EB Money, need lineman. Recession proof, C. Jack Campbell, makes the grade an A+. Okay. Season said, I wasn't here for the full thing. You do baseball content? Time to time on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. Taryn said, A-. The only thing I would change is the Bijan pick. Okay. Our Super Chat battle. We're having a tough time competing against some divisional foes here, and I'm a little bit sad about it. A little bit sad. Giants now 3,100 in Supers. Cowboys report 750. Eagles now with 17. Can we make it a respectable rivalry here? If you want to join the show, hashtag Eagles, better yet, Super Chat. We're, of course, always down to have a good time. That's hashtag Eagles or Super Chat. Giants now $3,100 on a live show this week. Bonkers, I know. Cowboys report with 750. Eagles now 17. Jim Travers. Darnell Washington over Parker. He's a beast. If he's your tight end too, I'd love to see the 12 personnel sets. One more segment left to get to.
Chase, I have a hypothetical for you.
Yeah.
If the Eagles were to draft Darnell Washington, tight end out of Georgia, he's big, he's a good pass catcher, he's athletic freak. That being said, would you be comfortable next offseason moving off of Dallas Goedert and keeping Darnell Washington? Would you draft him for a future asset?
I think that you can run a lot of 12 personnel, and I think that you can get away with having Goddard still on the roster just because you're going to have that rookie tight end on that rookie contract.
True.
So you gave Goddard that contract extension. I do believe that outside of George Kittle, he's probably the best all-around tight end in the NFL, pass catcher and blocker. I also still believe that he hasn't tapped in fully to his greatness. So I'd like to see him continue to stay on the team. But then you have Darnell Washington as yet another weapon.
Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer.
Taryn said, someone donate $3,084 and we're on top. If that happened, I would shotgun a beer through my nostrils. The Great Cage. Feel like we could get better players instead of Parker and Bennett. All right. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, with offensive line, you still have some quality depth there, but I could see why you want to go offensive line at some point for sure. But I couldn't pass up on safety. Yeah, we should be good. Send in a Super Chat or hashtag Eagles last call for your questions or your takes or your Super Chats to get featured on the show. So last call for those, because at the back end of talking about Jalen Carter on our final segment, we'll take some of your questions. Heather. Yeah, I know. I've been running through these. Heather, going in reverse with the shot glass through the nostrils. I would do that if we got a $3,000 Super Chat, even though it's not possible. It'd have to be a $3,000 Venmo, I think. Heather, laughing and drinking, no fun. We like to drink a lot here on the show. I'm going to Key West tomorrow, though. I'll have a drink in my hand for sure. Raphael, I don't like Ojulari, but the other picks are solid. All right, cool. All right, a lot of Jalen Carter draft buzz. We're going to talk about that coming up next. Continue to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. I think our live show's been awesome today. So if you like what you've been seeing, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Let's include that in the mailbag. Green blood, we're going to include that in our segment. That's a good question there. All right, Jalen Carter buzz. Let's get to it. A lot of buzz in the lead up to the 2023 NFL Draft coming up later this month, the final Thursday of April, that the Philadelphia Eagles could take Jalen Carter at number 10, or maybe move up, trade up, and take arguably the best defensive player in this draft class. Daniel Jeremiah, NFL draft expert for NFL Network, said that he believes on the Pat McAfee show the Eagles are the reason why Jalen Carter and his agent Drew Rosenhaus came out this past week and said, look, we are not taking any pre-draft visits for teams outside of the top 10. Here's the exact quote from Daniel Jeremiah on the Pat McAfee show. He said, the Eagles would be my educated guess on why Jalen Carter is not taking meetings outside of the top 10. Now, there is some baggage with Jalen Carter. Phenomenal football player, but unfortunately, He was drag racing after the parade and celebration, which celebrated Georgia's second straight national championship. A team staff member and another player did pass away in a car crash in the other vehicle that Jalen Carter was also drag racing alongside. Of course, all of this allegedly. He was projected to be the top defender taken in the draft before entering a no contest plea. The dash cam and police body cam footage was released last week, and Jalen Carter was seen getting questioned at his pro day because he didn't really do workouts at the NFL Scouting Combine because there was a warrant out for him. He was winded. He was falling down. He cramped up during his pro day, and he did not have a good showing. So did he not take it seriously? That's another red flag. But my goodness, he's a generational talent if everything checks out. An All-American type of player, 32 tackles last year for the Bulldogs, 7 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 pass breakups. He is such a good athlete for his size. Now, let's not talk about the legal situation because the only way that the Eagles take him is that the legal situation checks out. So let's operate under the premise that everything checks out legally, right? This is why the Eagles should draft Carter. He is 6'3", 300 pounds, had a Pro Football Focus grade last year with Georgia of 92.3. He is so fast and twitchy for his size at 6'3", 300, where he can get around blocks really quickly. He can chase down quarterbacks. He can take on and absorb double teams, which gives one-on-one matchups for other members along that defensive line, giving them sacks. It's almost like a hockey assist, right? He can bull rush you. He can throw you to the turf. He has that type of ability. Inside-outside versatility as well. You can line him up as a defensive end in a traditional 3-4 or a 4-3. Sean Desai going to run a little bit of a hybrid, or you can slide him on the interior and let his athleticism cook against some slower, plodding offensive guards as well as centers. And lastly, this is why Jalen Carter is in play. Howie Roseman has said it himself. When it comes to building our defense, our organizational philosophy is defensive line and then cornerback. And if a good defensive lineman who this organization could envision being a great player for the next decade is still on the board, and you team him up with Jordan Davis, as they played together at Georgia 2 years ago and won a natty together, it might be too good to pass up on if you're talking about Jalen Carter at number 10. So, should the Eagles take him if he does fall to the Birds at that 10th position? D for draft, P for pass. As you go down to the comment section to sound off and let your voices be heard, subscribe to the show. Daily videos on the Philadelphia Eagles. By the time you're watching this, I'm in Key West. We're still giving you content because we grind and we hustle, and that's a big reason why we're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Now let's take some of your super chats, some of your questions from our loyal subscribers. Green Blood 54. Would you move up for Anderson or Carter? I would think about moving up for Jalen Carter for sure if everything checks out. As far as Will Anderson, I don't think that you can move up far enough to get him. I think he's going to go in the top 5. Whatever team does not need a quarterback or does not draft a quarterback, he's going to be the first non-quarterback taken. So because you'd have to move up so much, I highly doubt that Will Anderson would be available. He's kind of like a Khalil Mack type of player. You put him on the other side with Hassan Reddick, that's a lot of sacks for your team that had 70 last year and led the NFL. The next closest team, 15 away with 55. Chris Johnson, $2 super chat. Nothing better than a dab and Eagles now, baby. Let's go. Nice. If you're a dab guy, that's pretty damn intense, but shout out to you. What Chris Johnson is, he ain't scared. And go Birds, he's watching Philadelphia Eagles now, and hopefully you're feeling good watching Philadelphia Eagles now. You know what I mean? Jay Brett, how do you feel about Nolan Smith at number 10? You think he'll be there, or should we trade back a couple of spots? I wouldn't take him at number 10. Couple of reasons why. Lack of production, injuries at Georgia. And I understand that at the NFL Combine, he went off, right? Freaky, twitchy athlete. The testing numbers were great. Testing numbers don't mean that you're going to be a great football player. Now, coming out of high school, he was a legend. Like the best defender, the best player according to some scouting sites. But that didn't really result in a ton of production. At number 30, though, if he's on the board, hell yeah. I'm all in on that. Your favorite Eagle on the current roster, who is it? My goodness, this is a good question. I have to think about it. Jason Kelce. I'd have to go Jason Kelce and then Brandon Graham. I don't think there's any question that they are legendary all-time Eagles. And then let's go with the newer Eagle, Jalen Hurts. I think they all stand for the right things, and they epitomize what a Philadelphia Eagle is supposed to be. You know who's the real one? Our guy, Cool Reigns. Fact, the Eagles have had more cornerback busts that we have drafted than any other spots. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bona fide fact. What's interesting is that they haven't taken a cornerback in the first round since Lito Shepherd. They have had some cornerbacks bust. The most recent successful one, Avonte Maddox, it's ended up being a good player, middle round guy out of Pittsburgh. It's ended up being a pretty good selection. You get a good slot corner out of Pitt. Andrew Nathan. Am I the only one that thinks there's no coincidence that the body cam was leaked/released? Team scheming to get him to drop. I don't know. Get your tinfoil hats on. Carter at 10 and Myles Murphy at number 30. I don't think Myles Murphy will be available at number 30. As far as the releasing of the body cam, dash cam stuff, I don't know if that's on a team to have it released. But if you think about it, and let's put on our tinfoil hats because I always enjoy those types of conversations, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think things should get challenged in life when you talk about discourse and stuff, right? So let's say a team asks the police department for the body cam footage because they want to know, okay, we're sitting hypothetical at number 7. We want to know if we should draft Jalen Carter. Or a team is at number 12, and they're like, we want to draft Jalen Carter. He might slide to us. Can he give us that body cam footage? We want to see how it went to know if we should draft this guy. And then they leak it so that he slides a little bit in the NFL draft. Look, I'm not ruling it out. I mean, look, agent leaks, owner leaks, GM leaks, coach leaks, player leaks, they happen all the time. Why? One word. #leverage. Do you think the Birds can get back to the Super Bowl this year? Let's hope so. You had the taste. You were so close. And I'm still heartbroken about it. Y for yes and for no. I see Deco and Greenblood with the laughing emojis because of the dab comments. I know. It was kind of funny. I had Trace laughing too. Pat on my back. Kevin, 36361. We all have leaks. You like dabs? Dabs are intense.
In college, it was
these dabs.
Efficiency.
These dabs, very intense.
Cam Newton's dabs.
Cam Newton dabs.
Yeah. It was Cam Newton dabs in college.
That's what we're talking about here, folks.
For efficiency, because a little goes a long way with a Cam Newton dab, you know?
Yes. Mike Seidel, rhetorical. Yes. Exactly. Do you think the Birds could get back to the Super Bowl? Cool Rain said yes. Ryan Rose said yes. Deco, PG, of course. Of course. Of course. Lion Fighter, LFX. There he is. All right, what we're going to do right now, we're up to $21 in Super Chats. In mine. Today. God damn. Hot. Oh, boy. All right, our Super Chat battle. We're up to $21, competing with some NFC East teams this week. But I'm not going to lie, we're not going to stay live that long. So, 2-minute Super Chat shot clock. 2 minutes. Dose. Oh. My back is fucked. Yeah, you might need to. Yeah, we'll put on the 2-minute Super Chat shot clock. Trace is going to get the graphic ready. There it is. It starts right now. The Super Chat shot clock. 2 minutes to get your Super Chats in. If not, all good. We'll sign off. We'll call it a day. Nah, Cool Reigns. Unless you get Carter at 10, and then you move up to like 25-20 for Bijan. But the thing with that is your pick in the second round is late at 64, right? So it's just not possible. Or 62, sorry. What'd you say?
So don't the Eagles have a plethora of draft picks next year? So
They
could
do.
you potentially package
You could.
next year's picks
That's
to
a good
maybe
point.
move up and get something?
That's a very good point. Very good point. Yeah, you could package picks next year because they have a lot of them and some compensatory picks on the way. Philly, let's strengthen the offense since the defense will be unknown. That's kind of why I want Bijan at number 10 in my mock. Gonna have to outscore teams, outgun them. All right, you see the shot clock here, 45 seconds.
$30 seconds remaining.
30 seconds. Now down to 15. 4 segments today. It was a great show. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought we did some good stuff today. It's very, very good. Some great content, man. Just wait till the NFL draft. That's when the Super Chats will really start to get popping. All right, Super Chat shot clock has expired. We are going to sign off here on Philadelphia Eagles now. 4 segments in the canister. Now, no live show next week because I'll be in Key West. Oh, green blood. Don't be a putz. That's a funny word. Support the show. Lion Fighter, you good, bro. You good. Hopefully the job search ends up making a positive turn, my man. Been out of work 6 weeks. Wish I could donate today. It's all good, brother. Green blood with the 2. Thank you so much. If you watch the show on a non-live video, you can still send in the super thanks, by the way. I was trying to say something. It wouldn't let me. It's all good, Green blood. We got you. Green blood. I like that name, too. 54 for Jeremiah Trotter, by the way. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. Our Eagles draft coverage is going to be great. As I said, I'm going to Key West tomorrow, so no live show next week, but videos planned for next week. Of course, a big breaking news happens. I can hop on the mic from Key West, whether I'm on the beach or whatever. So thanks to everybody for watching, and we'll catch you next time here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, and enjoy your weekends. Peace.